begin looking at circles. Circles. So really, when you're constructing a circle, so I don't know if you ever constructed circles when you were in elementary school. I remember doing it. You had to have two things. You had to have a point of center. So you take your compass and you'd stick the sharp part of your compass down for a center. Let's call this center H, K. And the other thing you had to do, you had to fix your compass out at a certain radius. So those are the two things you needed. So your givens are you have to have a center, which we're calling HK. So H is the X coordinate, K is the Y coordinate, and then you got to have a radius. So anything in red is a given. So you got to have a center to put your pointy part of your compass down in a radius. And once you do that, you put your pencil down and you swivel your pencil all around and you get a circle. So the blue stuff is the penciled drawing. Now, we don't know what's here on the blue. We just know it's pencil. We don't actually know the point, though. We don't know this point here, this blue point. We're just going to call it XY. It's an unknown point. Any other point out here, we don't know these points. They're XYs. What we do know is that the radius is fixed, right? The radius is fixed all the way around. The radius is the same all the way around. When you have a circle, the radius is always the same. I just didn't draw the circle too great. So what we can do, we can call the blue point, let's call it X1, Y1. And the red point, the center, let's call it X2, Y2. So from here, this radius here, I'm going to call that the distance, right? The radius is the distance between 2 points, the center and the outer point. So I'm going to use R. R is my distance. I'm not going to use D here. I'm going to use R. This is going to be equal to the square root of blank minus blank squared plus blank minus blank squared. So this is the distance formula. So I'm going to do x2 minus x1. Or x1 minus x2. Doesn't matter here which one you use. Okay, let me switch these labels around. I'll call this one x1, y1. And I'll call this one here x2, y2. Just so we're okay. So you're going to do x2 minus x1. So I'm going to do x2 is x minus x1 is h. All right, squared plus, then we're going to do y2 minus y1. y2 is a blue y, and y1 is a red k. All right, now I don't like that big old square root, so if I want to get rid of that big old square root, what can I do to both sides? I can just square both sides of the equation. Right, we saw that when we were solving radical equations. So on the right-hand side, I'm going to drop the square and the square root. So, on the left-hand side, we have what? R squared. So we got R squared on the left. And on the right-hand side, the purple square kills off the green square root, and we're just going to have x minus h squared plus y minus k squared. Right here is the formula for the equation of a circle. So x and y are unknown. They're just variables. HK is going to be your center, and R is going to be your radius. So let's write that down formally. The circle with center H, K, that's going to be known, H and K are going to be known, and radius R, that's going to be usually known. The circle with center HK and radius R has equation. We'll write it like this: x minus h quantity squared plus y minus k quantity squared. And we'll put the r squared on the right-hand side, r squared. Okay, so here's the equation of a circle. You want to remember this special equation here. All right, so let's see if we can do some exercises involving the equation of a circle. Exercises. Determine the center of the center and radius of the circle. Determine the center and radius of the circle. So I'm going to give you an equation of a circle. You got to find its center and radius. And after you do that, then graph the circle. Graph it in the Cartesian coordinate plane, the two-dimensional plane. All right, here we go. Number 1. Here's an equation of a circle. I have what? X minus 1 quantity squared plus y minus 3 quantity squared equals 4. All right, so the first thing you want to do is identify the center. The center. So I look at it, I have x minus 1 squared, so the h here is going to be 1. And then I got plus y minus 3 squared, so the k here is going to be 3. All right, and then the radius, we've got to figure that out. So we're going to take this number right here, and that's supposed to be r squared, right? That's supposed to be r squared. Let me just identify that with 1, 2, 3, 4 underline marks. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I got r squared equals 4. And you don't do plus or minus the square root because radiuses are only positive, so you're just going to do the positive, just the positive square root of 4. That's going to give you 2. So you got a center of 1, 3 and a radius of 2. Now notice that with the center 1, 3, it's opposite in sign to the where you see the minus 1 and the minus 3. Yeah, so the center is opposite in sign to the minus 1 and minus 3. That's the way the center works. It's opposite in sign. All right. Let's graph this. So we're going to make a Cartesian coordinate plane. I'm going to go down here. It's a y-axis. Here's an x-axis. I'm going to put down 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, positive 1, positive 2, positive 3, positive 4, positive 5, positive 6, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5. So let's put down the center, 1, 3. 1, 3, that would be right here, right? 1 on the x, 3 on the y. Then we have to go out a radius of 2, so I'm going to go 2 in all directions. I'm going to go 2 to the right, 1, 2. Or 2 to the east. I'm going to go up 2, or 2 to the north. I'm going to go 2 to the west, 1, 2 to the west. I'm going to go 2 to the south, 1, 2 to the south. Now I'm going to take those 4 points, north, south, east, and west. I'm going to try to draw a circle around the center. All right. Let me do the circle in blue, actually. I'll do the circle in blue. The center is going to be in red. The circle itself will be in blue. Yeah, so that's all you do. You start at the center, 1, 3, and you go out north, south, east, and west, 2 units in radius, and then just connect those 4 dots into a circle. That's it. All right, number 2. Let's say we got parentheses x plus 2 squared plus y plus 1 squared equals 9. So first we got to find the center. And we got to find the radius. Now remember the form you want is that x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So I'm going to rewrite this as, let me go green here. I'm going to have x minus blank squared plus y minus blank squared equals, well, we can say what squared gives you 9? Well, we can say 3, right? 3 squared gives you 9. All right. So what can I put in place of the blank after the x minus? Well, I could put a -2, right? -2, right? X minus -2 is the same thing as x plus 2. And then what could I put in place of the blank after the y minus? Well, I could have put a -1, right? Y minus -1 is the same as y plus 1. So your center is going to be here -2, comma -1. Right? Your h, x minus h here is -2. And you got y minus k here is -1. And your radius is simply going to be r equals 3, right? R equals 3, right? You got r squared is equal to 9, so r equals just the positive root of 9, so r is equal to 3. Or you can see quite clearly, right? You got 3 to the second power, right? 3 to the second power, so the r is 3. So notice that for the center, -2, -1 is opposite in sign of this +2 and this +1, right? They're always opposite in sign with the equation of a circle. All right, so let's graph this. Got x-axis. You got a y-axis. And we're going to start off with -2, -1. So that's down here. -2, -1. That's my center. And then we're going to go out in all directions, north, south, east, and west. We're going to go 3 units. So I got to make sure I have enough. 1, 2, 3. We're going to go down this way. 1, 2, 3 this way. We're going to go up 1, 2, 3 this way. And we're going to go west 1, 2, 3. Okay, so let's do that. 1, 2, 3 to the east. Plot a point from the center. Okay, from the center. 1, 2, 3 to the north. Then to the west. 1, 2, 3 to the west, and then to the south. 1, 2, 3 to the south. I'm just going to connect my 4 blue dots into a circle. I like to go counterclockwise. You do your best. Sometimes you're not a great drawer. I'm a terrible drawer. It's all right. So your circle is actually this blue thing. The center is the red dot. All right. All right, there's another example. Number 2. Number 3. I say number 2 is number 3. We got x plus 4, quantity squared. What else? Plus y squared equals 1. So we want center in the radius, All right, so if I were to rewrite this in the standard form, you got what? X minus blank squared plus y minus blank squared. Oop, hold up. Blank squared. Don't want to be giving anything away here. Equals blank squared. So what could we put? We got x plus 4 squared in black. What could we write after the x minus blank? X minus blank to make sure that's a positive 4. Well, we put a -4, right? X minus -4. X minus -4 is the same thing as x plus 4. And now the question is, what would you write after the y minus? What would you put in that blank? Y minus blank to get just y squared. Well, you put it in a 0, right? Y minus 0 is just y. So you get y there and then square. And then what square gives you 1? Well, you can plug in a 1 right there, right? 1 square gives you 1. So in reality, your center here is going to be what? -4, 0, and your radius is going to be, well, you could say, take this guy as your radius squared, right? Radius squared equals 1, and you just take the positive root of that, which is just 1. And also we saw it right here, right? We had what squared? 1 squared right there. In any case, we get a center of -4, 0, and a radius of 1. And you plot that. You go what? 1, 2, 3, 4, negative. And you got to make sure you go out. Plot a point, plot a point, plot a point. There I go, I plotted my point. That's -4, 0. Then you got to go out in all cardinal directions, 1 unit. Okay, that's not very good. Okay, 1 unit. Okay, so I'm going to go 1 to the east. That should be blue. Let's go blue. 1 to the east, 1 to the north, 1 to the west, and 1 to the south. And we're going to connect those blue dots into a circle. Okay, that's my best circle there. All right, let's do number 4. Number 4, what do we have? We have what? X squared plus y squared equals 25. So if we wrote this in the standard form, you write x minus blank squared plus y minus blank squared equals blank squared. So after the x minus, we just put a 0, right? X minus 0 would give you back the x. And after y minus, you put a 0 because y minus 0 would give you the y. And then I ask the question, what square gives you 25? Well, 5. So your radius is going to be 5 here. Just thinking ahead. All right, so what's the center? Center is going to be 0, 0. And the radius is going to be clearly 5 because 5 squared is what gives you 25. Or you could just go back and say, okay, the radius squared is 25. And you only take the positive root of that, square root of 25. That's square root of 25 is 5. Or you could have just observed that. 5 squared gives you 25. All right, so graphing that should be an easy one to graph. I have to go pretty big on this one. X-axis and y-axis. We're going to be dead center. This is called the origin. The center is called the origin. They're going to go 5 in all directions, so I'm going to go 1, 2, well, let me use a black. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. I'm going to use blue. 5 to the, that should be blue. 5 to the east, 5 to the north, 5 to the west, 5 to the south. Let's try to get this to be a circle. That's as good as it's going to get. It looks more like an egg, but yeah. There you have it. Equations of circles, graphed.